What's up, guys? Rob Kuhn here, and yes, I am in a blazer. Why am I in a blazer? I'm just a super poker analyst because you show respect when the godfather of poker makes an appearance on TV. Today, we're going to see the battle of two legends, Phil Hellmuth, Doyle Brunson. Let's get in the action.
One for the ages.
Cool.
Doyle going to take initiative in this pot.
The blinds are 100, 200 with a 200 big blind ante. Phil Hellmuth min raises to 400 from the cutoff. Brad Owen calls from the small blind, and Doyle Brunson 3-bets to 1900. Just so you can get the context of what this game actually is, this is a celebrity meetup game. That's why we're seeing guys like Doyle Brunson, Phil Ivey, Phil Hellmuth, Brad Owen. There's a couple other players at the table. But this is epic. We don't see this very often. Poker streaming is at an all-time high. This is what I love. I'm in a blazer for it, all right? Let's go ahead and see what happens.
Like this a lot. Given the right flops, he could just very happily take it down. This will not be one of those, however. As Phil flops top pair. Very, very strong kicker. Doyle going to continuation bet, of course. And Phil really does not want to see a queen on the turn. I can tell you that much.
81.
With 4,000 in the middle, Doyle Brunson bets 3,100, which is a completely fine C-bet. He's obviously going to have very strong hands like, Ace King, Aces, Ace Queen suited, Ace Jack suited, Ace 10 suited, Pocket 10s, etc. And Phil Hellmuth makes a slightly unorthodox play and decides to raise. I'm not the biggest fan of this raise. I think you should probably try to let, hands like King Jack, or maybe he has a hand like Pocket Kings or Pocket Queens that he's just C-betting, stay in because you dominate those hands. I'm not really sure what he's trying to get at when he raises. I think he's kind of just trying to see where he's at. This is kind of like an old school mentality type of play. Not one I really approve of, but I don't really hate it either. I mean, it's fine because you can get value from worse hands, such as like Ace Jack suited, or perhaps Doyle 3-bet a hand like Ace 5 suited. But anyway, let's continue to the turn. Turn goes check, and I'm not the biggest fan of this either. I think Phil should still get value with the intention of probably checking back. He's not exactly getting max value from his hand with Ace Queen, and he also allows himself to potentially get bluffed on rivers. The thing is, if Doyle has a hand like Pocket Kings, he could get stubborn, or a hand like Queen Jack, which is a double gutter, Pocket Queen, stuff like that, or an inferior ace such as Ace Jack suited, or Ace 4 suited, whatever, Ace 5 suited. He can get value from all of these hands potentially. Maybe not the kings, queens, but definitely the worst aces. The only hands that really beat you is ace, king, and aces. Personally, I would like to see it bet, but a check back is completely reasonable as well.
Phil chooses to raise the flop right away, which may not be standard, but is quite an interesting decision. It will... This is the downside to that decision. If you check back the turn, you look a lot like the type of hand you have, maybe an ace-jack, ace-queen type of hand.
You've got to know I have at least ace queen.
And this allows Doyle to really put on max pressure. Phil's saying he has to know I have ace queen. It's probably clear that the strongest hand he has is right around that zone.
7 times.
And let's just take the time to appreciate Doyle Brunson and being able to play at the highest level. He's in his mid-80s. He's still in Bobby's room all the time. I've actually had the pleasure of playing next to him quite a bit of times. He's usually in the mixed games. I'm usually in the no-limit games. But the guy is sharp. Like, for 80 years old, still playing at the highest levels, still crushing young guns who study all the time. The guy is sharp, and I really, really like this play. He obviously recognizes that Phil probably has an ace, because what else is Phil going to be raising with? It checks back the turn. And he's putting him to the ultimate test. He's saying, hey, I have a hand like ace, king, or better. What are you going to do? You're going to call, you're going to fold. Good luck. He knows Phil overfolds pretty much most situations. And Doyle doesn't really particularly have, I would say, a style. I think he just plays very, very well in a lot of spots. He's just not an easy guy to really play against. Let's continue on and see what happens.
Dumbly played. I never called him. I mean, he just gave me the money. He doesn't know how tight I play. All right, how much? 25-6?
Pretty sure he knows how tight you play.
You giving me the money again, Doyle?
Phil has a very relevant
queen
queen
high
of
and
hearts in his hand
crazy
as well,
against me.
blocking some of the possible flushes that Doyle may have had. Or could have had, I should say.
What's going through Hellmuth's head right now is what hands does he beat? So he beats hands like Queen Jack suited, however he has a queen in his hand, which is definitely not a good thing. You would much rather have a hand like, let's say, Ace 3 suited. It actually makes for a better call than a hand like Ace Queen because you block his bluffs. You want him to have hands like Queen Jack suited or King Queen suited. Having a queen is not good in this scenario. And to be honest, this is not that easy of a spot. Yes, we can look at the cards and we can see Doyle has King High and Phil Hellmuth has Ace Queen, which is obviously the best hand. But put yourself in Phil's shoes. This is not that easy of a spot. I don't know what I would do in this spot.
What the fuck is going on here? And every time and I'm losing in this fucking game.
At least he seems happy.
All right, Phil. Now they're gonna give it to you. Just relax.
If Phil folds this hand, he is not going to be a happy camper in 30 minutes. Or whenever he receives the information from the first few hands.
Nothing wrong with being bluffed by Doyle. Plus, he'll give it to you later. Good move, Doyle.
Wow. Wow.
Good move.
Doesn't even show the bluff. The godfather of poker, ladies and gentlemen.
I love Doyle. I
Doing
love
what he
Doyle.
has done for probably 60 or so
So
years.
much respect. And look, sometimes you get owned. If you're going to get owned by anybody, getting owned by the godfather of poker, Doyle Brunson, one of the best to ever do it, and definitely one who's been able to navigate through decades and decades of poker, playing all of the games at a very, very high level. Hats off to Doyle in this hand. Very well played. Don't think Hellmuth really made a mistake. It's actually a very tough situation. You can call, you can fold. Just a really good hand of poker overall. Anyway, hope you guys like this analysis. Much love.
Baby, you give